All right, what is good, YouTube? John Apocalypse here, and I'm kicking off a new series on the channel. I will be uploading my completed dungeon runs for you guys' viewing pleasure, but with my commentary going forward. Um, some people, by popular demand, wanted me to do this type of video, going over my thought process, the route that we decided to do with my group. Sometimes it's going to be pug, sometimes it'll be with a formulated group. Hopefully that way you guys can see the difference between a pug group and how I manage things and a friend group. This happened to be basically a full friend group. So I'll kind of talk to you a little bit about how we communicated and the route that we decided to do, my thought process, how I use defensives, when I use defensives, when I decided to use damage, and so on and so forth. Hopefully you guys find this video useful so that you could then better your gameplay. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, list them down below in the comment section. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, if you want to see more content and videos like this. Also, feel free to support my Twitch channel. The link should be down in the description below. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening, as well as Saturday morning. So if you want to support me there, come drop in and say hello or ask me any questions there as well. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, so we're just getting the key started here. And looks like someone forgot. Off we go. Okay, so here we go. As you can see here, I'm playing Kyrian. And from talent choices, you can see Tombstone here. Synergizes well with the 4-piece as well as Bone Storm. I find that Kyrian's pretty strong for M+ because it allows you to basically get a bunch of runes back whenever Shackle spreads. We're going to start off by skipping at the start, kind of the Season 2 strat. I'm not 100% sure what the actual play is here. Maybe you're supposed to kill this pack with everyone's CDs, because you'll notice here we're having our Priest Mind Soothe. We called for that. This pack dies really fast, and I send my Dancing Room up in and my CDs on this. I'm calling for kicks. I am letting people know that I have Coins Harvest Essence when it comes out, but I actually don't. I actually am going to probably, if I remember correctly, yeah, I got Diamond because I saw no one was kicking it right away. So I call back up on Coin. So make sure if you don't get your kick properly, or if you decide to call an audible, make sure you let people know, hey, I got that kick. Get something else. You'll notice here that this pack absolutely melted. So again, it kind of feels bad, probably for everyone to have sent CDs there. I don't think that's probably going to be the play. We might want to eventually tweak the route there. So, but that's what we decided to do. It's not a make or break key. It's a 21 miss of Tirna. By the way, it's Tyrannical, Spiteful, and Necrotic. That's another reason why everything's broken here. I don't have Dancing Room open going into this pack, but I'm not too scared. I just sent Shackle here, and I decided to start getting my Bone Shield going. I realized that Dancing Room opens back up, so I just pop it immediately. I dump a bunch of that Runic Power into Bone Storm here, even though there's 2 targets, because I want to focus all of my GCDs onto Heart Striking to keep my Dancing Room up and going. You can see my damage is slowly climbing here, 32 stacks of the Eternal Rune Waltz, and climbing here, 7 seconds left of the Dancing Room open. I dance these guys around a little bit, and it's actually really okay because all of our comp here is ranged. We have an Ela Shaman, a Lock, and a MM Hunter. So I'm kind of dancing these guys around as I feel needed, as I need actually, to dodge these Bramble Bursts. When you see the cast go out, just kind of stutter step off to the side, and you should be good. So I send Shackle again here. I could have held, but as you can see here, it was a good call because right when Shackle expires, the pack dies. So here I have Dancing Room up and up. You always want to have this here into every pack. If you don't have Dancing Room up in here, you either have to make sure you pop a Tombstone going into a pool or whatever. Here I'm targeting the Malachi. You can see my focus targets here. and I'm gonna get first kick. I let that everybody know. I get first kick there. I send Dancing Rune Open on pool. I Blood Boil right away, and then I send Bone Storm right away with 100 runic power. And I'm heart striking a lot. I'm not really prioritizing blood boiling too hard. I know I'm sometimes capping. There goes the shackle right there. I'm trying to keep my rotation proper while still greeting, quote unquote, for those eternal rune vault stacks. You can see here I have about 4 or 5 seconds left of Dancing Rune Weapon, and I'm climbing up around 53 stacks. You can see this big damage I'm doing. Look at this damage. I'm beating the DPS in damage, 17k, right? Obviously, the Warlock hasn't popped, but it just goes to show like this is a pretty crazy 4 set. I'm not sure why I didn't get that kick there. I had to kick open. My Dancing Rune Open falls, but I'm not too worried because I had one come right back up. So I just pop it immediately because I know that if I pop it immediately, we're going to be pushing the boss here soon. And as you can see here, I'm kind of edging on the blue here. I'm not worried too much about dipping my foot in there. I'm greeting. I'm greeting pretty hard. This 4 set makes you pretty greedy because if your stacks drop off, all your damage goes away. So I'm kind of every time every time the boss casts the tree casts that big frontal, I make sure to face her away. Here my damage is still ramping. We pop lust. I pop my battle pot. I have shackle coming up in my pet. It's gonna be a little bit late for the burn, but I send it anyway because any damage is good damage, and it's gonna roll into the tree. The shackle will spread onto the tree, which is gonna give me a free room, which is nice. Right there, just spread. And I'm at 75 stacks. I'm sitting pretty. Kind of pretty. Pop Bone Storm to get rid of some of my runic power. I'm still doing some big damage. I'm at 18.7k. And it's all because I'm really doing my best to manage keeping this up. So after the Tears of the Forest here, you'll notice I kind of shimmy her off so that she's edging towards the wall. You notice how I point her away? So you always want to make sure I'm aware of where my teammates are at. And I always, after the Tears of the Forest, there's a kick that goes off by him. I popped AMS I always do that on this boss, just to make sure I don't get feared. And then right at the very last second, see, I aim that away. Never aim her frontal. She always does that frontal after Tears of the Forest. I'm kind of, so if I had more melee with me, I would not be in this corner. I'm only in this corner because I know I'm the only melee, so I'm not too worried. The ranged are kind of, they're just freeballing it. This is kind of a YOLO key. Although this is a friends group and we're in comms, we're not too worried about being super coordinated. It is a 21. It's higher for some of you guys. It's not that high for me. But we're kind of just YOLO blasting this key right now. And calling the kicks here still. We're committing to the tree now because, you can start committing to tree or not tree. You can start committing to Malak damage once Malak kind of gets to like that 10% mark, maybe even higher. So we commit. It's an easy commit. Malak goes down. And look at that blood DK damage, 16.2. And again, it's because I greeted a little bit with my stacks of Eternal Rune Vaults, and you have to kind of play a little greedy. You have to be okay dipping your foot into something so that you can stay in melee range to heart strike more. Here we're calling for a wall pull from the Hunter. So I send Rune Weapon here. It's up. And I'm sitting on my Shackle. And the reason why I'm sitting on Shackle is because I know that the big pack's coming. And I know that if I pop Shackle here, it's going to fade before the group gets here. And Shackle does some pretty nasty AoE damage, and it spreads. And like I said earlier, every time Shackle spreads, it gives you basically a room. So we're sitting here wondering where the pack is. We asked the Hunter, and he's like, "Oh, my pack." And, his pet apparently like walked away or something. So I'm sweating a little bit. I'm at high stacks, 63 stacks. But then he finally gets the pool going. I send Shackle here because I'm running low on runes. And by sending Shackle here, it kind of saves my rune weapon. So now I'm just spamming heart strikes. I'm not worried about my bone shield. I know that's a little greedy. But I'm all about trying to keep this eternal rune weapon going. Now it fades. Now I'm a little in danger. But I Marrow Rend right away. I'm not too worried about it. I probably greeted a little too hard there, but everything's all good. There's only a defender and a guardian up. I wasn't going to get one shot by that. That's a little risky play, but at the end of the day, you know, when anything goes wrong, blame the hunter, right? Sorry, Frozen. I love you if you're watching this. Okay, for now, just kind of blood boiling, doing the basic rotation from season 2. I'm not sending another rune weapon. Obviously, the pack's about to die. Never send your rune weapon when the pack's about to die. I think most of you guys know that. It's kind of sad here because I drop Death and Decay here. I send Shackle. I send my rune weapon. I send Bone Storm. I got big damage going. I'm Heart Striking. I'm Blood Boiling. I'm Death Striking. And I'm just doing big giga damage here. You can see this damage here down in the corner. Obviously, everyone else is popping off too, but you know, Blood DK's never had this type of on-command damage. The reason why this is sad is because I have like 6 seconds, 5 seconds, and some runes to play with to keep this Dancing Room open going. And we try and get through the wall so I can Death Grip something to me, but unfortunately we didn't. Now, because I realized that I popped Tombstone, my first Tombstone of the entire dungeon, you notice. So if you play the Dancing Room up in 4-piece right, you never really have to pop Tombstone unless you're in a situation like that. So I pop Tombstone. I don't have Rune Weapon up, but I pop Vampiric Blood and I Shackle right away. And now Rune Weapon's up and I pop. So you notice there that everything was kind of running to my teammates. The ability you want to use, I kick this Tender here. It gets a little spicier actually. Is always Blood Boil at the start. See, so the Tender goes off because I didn't realize they're doing another wall pull. They communicated with it, but I didn't know we were going to pull this one. We have 3 Tenders in the pack. Something has to die. That Tender just kind of healed a lot of shit to full. I kick that Tender. That Tender's dead. We're good. Rune Weapon's still going. I noticed that my Bone Shield was falling off, so I had to hit a Marrow Rend. My damage is still climbing. But then somebody knocks us back, Sarani, the priest, and it kind of almost, my Rune Weapon almost falls here. And then I just get kind of confused a little bit as to what I'm hitting. He pops a Guardian Spirit on me because he realizes I started taking a little bit of damage there. My Rune Weapon falls off. It probably, if I played that a little bit better, it probably wouldn't have. But the priest did knock everything away from me. And I could have just kept my Rune Weapon up a little easier. I had control over the pack. But all is good. It's not a big deal. The pack goes down. Somehow we managed to kill Triple Tender with one of the Nurse going off. The most important thing, guys, is quickly call those kicks. When you have something like that going out, call the kicks on the Tenders. Don't just sit there silent and not do anything. On to the next pull. I think we could do another double here. Rune Weapon goes out again. It's up like the entire time. Shackle goes out. The Shaman called that he was going to get kicks on Tender, so I got the kick on the Bramble Thorn coat or whatever it's called. The Warlock calls kick on Star, the new Tender that comes in, and this pack is just absolutely going to get melted. I see that this guy's got threat on me, so I taunt. No threat on me, so I taunt him. And then I drop Death and Decay here because if you have a bunch of targets like this, your Heart Strike's going to hit more. So make sure if like you're fighting something that's like 3+ targets, I would say like 4 or more, you definitely want to prioritize. I dip kind of low here, but I pop IBF and I'm all good. I kind of kite here because I get a little scared because my Dancing Room Open fell off. Everything's flying around. We have no control over the mobs. I'm rooted here. I'm letting him know I'm rooted. But yeah, Dancing Room Open goes out again. I probably should not have popped Dancing Room Open. This was a bad play. Shining Force goes out again. A little bit of int. The one thing that's kind of the downside and the downfall of the 4-piece is that obviously, you know, being in melee, your tank, it synergizes well, obviously, with your abilities. But the downside is that if anything like you have to kite out of or anything that knocks things back, like Brawn will sometimes int your next melee hit, or, you know, in this case, that Shining Force knocks everything away from you. It kind of ints your damage a little bit. So you see that I Tombstone again. That's my second Tombstone. The maze is a little hard. This is my first time running Miss with my 4-piece. So I'm definitely not timing things 100% optimally. But at the end of the day, you go back to your roots of just making sure that you're playing well, which is just make sure you have your bone shield. Make sure you're managing your runes. Heart striking for runic power. Death striking and blood boiling. Making sure you're not sitting on too many stacks. Making sure that you're also dodging this frog's tongue lash, but not only dodging the tongue lash, but always facing his tongue lash away from your group, or at least if you can't. Sometimes he jumps off into like weird places. If you can't face it away, at least call out, "Hey, the tongue lash is coming." Let your teammate know. My rune weapon's still going. I'm just blasting here. I pop AMS because I see some shit on the ground I don't like, and Shackle goes out. Big pull here. And I'm just heart striking. I know I'm capping on Blood Boil, and I know I'm capping on Runic Power, but I'm trying to just keep my rune weapon going. I get knocked back there, and then I get knocked back again from the Bucking Rampage, and there goes my rune. I had Death's Advance. I probably should have popped it there. I just realized to prevent that knockback from the Bucking Rampage. This is some crazy shit. So if you guys are trying to follow along, just know that this is not something you do in a typical dungeon, right? This is something you do with, again, this is a comms type of thing. We're doing a lot of double pulls in these maze, in the maze, because we can. So see how I'm facing the tongue lash away from my team, and then you just sidestep it, you know, and then that's a stupid ability. See, there he does the poison secretions, and then he immediately does a tongue lash. So there's nothing you could do about that except for call to your team, hey, the tongue lash is coming, just watch out. So we clearly didn't put any prio damage into this guy because he's still up. I sent Shackle just to try and send him home. Probably should have saved it. Oh well, not the biggest deal in the world. Looking at the overall damage here, guys, 14.3k as blood decay is pretty insane, right? The Hunter has a 2-piece, Warlock has a 4-piece, and I think this guy has a 2-piece, maybe a 4-piece as well. But you know, we're just doing big damage. So I don't, and because a little bit of misplay, I didn't have Dancer Weapon on pull, but Dancer Weapon does come out here. And I did drop a Death and Decay here because, look, we're fighting 5 targets. I'm calling Kick on the Tender. I'm sidestepping the Spear Flurry, you know? You don't have to, like, run all over the place when that Spear Flurry comes out. And Shackle goes out again, and that's another misplay on my end. I don't know why I sent Shackle there. But I did. And yeah, that's that. It all works out because you'll see here that somebody went through a gate and it saved my misplay. Had we had to go to the next pack, I wouldn't have had Dancing Room Open, and my Tombstone would not have been available, and Shackle. But now because of that mistake, from walking through the wrong maze door, you can see that my Dancing Rune Weapon is coming back up, and my Shackle. And that's really all you need to get Threat on pool. Actually, there is no pack, I guess, because we pulled that too. We just pulled everything. All right, so I'm sending Rune Weapon, Battle Pot, Shackle, and I recommend sending Shackle always after your Dancing Rune Weapon. Because again, the Shackle, every time it spreads and applies to a new enemy, it gives you a free rune. And normally you wouldn't have wanted to do that in Season 2, because you wanted to utilize all 11 seconds of your Dancing Rune Weapon using globals like Heart Strikes, Death Strikes, Blood Boils, and Marrow Rend if you needed it. But because we're playing around this 4-piece where we want to have as many runes as possible, I sent Shackle there on pool, and it already came back up, so I sent another Shackle here. I'm already at 75% stacks here. And so I'm just heart striking. I get to the next target quick. I noticed that the Vulpin was chasing me, so I just AMS, and I knew that no one was around me, except for my pets, as you can see. It was kind of funny. And I just AMS and ate that, because, again, I am greeding for damage. I want big damage. And then I even get a PI here from the priest. It was kind of a fun thing to do. The warlock was the priest asked if the warlock should get it, and I asked for it, and I get PI here. So I asked for PI, I get PI. That's how shit works. when you do big damage like this, that's how things work. 14.2k overall. Just make sure you're sidestepping these dodgeballs. Yada yada yada. The range DPS or melee DPS are supposed to take care of the bullpens. I'm running low. You shouldn't be hitting anything. When you have Dancing Room open up and you have a 4-piece, you shouldn't be hitting really Marrow. You shouldn't be hitting Marrow Run more than just the one time. If you see your Bone Shields are going away, you need to hit it, right? And there's like 1 or 2 times in this key where I didn't do that. And that's just because, again, I greeted. And that was my own personal choice. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Now this full pin's chasing me, and my room up got screwed up because of that. But again, my Bone Shield's going to fall off, but I Marrow Rend the clone right away. No one was really slowing that, and I guess I could have Chains of Iced it, but I didn't. I just did a good job at running away. Pop Death Advance and run. My room up and falls. I'm not too worried about it. I don't even want to hit a Tombstone because I know it's coming back up. There it is. I Shackle, and room opens up again. I basically have perma room up in this entire dungeon. And again, this is a 4-piece Blood Decay here. This is like without having like super crazy gear. I mean, I'm 5 out of 11 Mythic, and I'm sitting at about 29% haste. I don't have the Heroic Jailer weapon or even the normal Jailer weapon, so I could even be doing more damage, but I don't. But I'm still doing some insane damage. My room up and falls again because I'm out of blood taps. We have no lust. And that's just kind of what happens. Sometimes you're not always going to get to 75% strength stacks. You notice that I tombstone there again because I don't have Dance Room open here. You're not always going to get to 75% Eternal Rune Weapon stacks. So you have to just accept that there's going to be quite a few pools where you do have quite a few moments in the dungeon where you're going to have it up for a long time, and then there's other times where it's just going to be a small amount. I usually tend to AMS when the clones come up just to help my healer out, even though I usually just Death Strike, but it just makes it so that I don't ever have to worry about anything going wrong. I sent Rune Weapon here, and this is definitely a misplay. I guess I miscalculated the boss's health and how fast we were going to get through that clone. So I got to up to 53 stacks, but obviously it falls. And I unfortunately did not get 5 bone shields before the boss died. So I couldn't tombstone. So I have tombstone available, but I can't use it. So now I'm looking at the timer. I realize what situation I'm in. I realize at this point that I am a pleb and that I am in season 2 again. I don't have room up and on pool, so here's what I do. I summon my gargoyle. I rune tap, shackle for threat, and I marrow rend twice, right? I should have blood boiled, but I blood boil here. Not a big deal. We decide to kill Woe because we all overlapped our kick there on the Staghorn. That's fine. I sent Rune up in here again. We did a weird route, honestly. I just wanted to send Rune up in here for damage. Again, probably not the best play. We're doing a kind of a semi-weird route. We did a lot of wall pulls, and then we did this Woe skip here. We ended up going to the boss thinking we were going to do the boss, but we ended up realizing how much time we had left on Lust and that no one had CDs. So, again, although I sent Rune Weapon here and I shouldn't have on this tiny, tiny pack with no plans of doing anything after, it's going to end up working semi in my favor because we're going to end up doing, this whole long walk over there and my Rune Weapon will be back up. So, I'm not too worried about it. I have a Tombstone available here, and I have 6 Bone Shield stacks. Not sure if I'm going to press. I should have pressed Tombstone here, but I didn't. This is definitely an oversight on my end. Yeah. I just Vampiric Blood, Shackle, Rune Tap, going into the pack. Blood Boiled for threat, and then Room opens back up again. No harm, no foul. Bone Storm goes out. Blood Boils. Dumping my Runic Power into the Bone Storm and dumping Runic Power into the Death Strike. Heart Striking, Death Striking, Blood boiling. Blood boiling. There it goes. Calling kicks. We killed the wrong guy, I believed, right? Yeah, we killed Speedy Boy again. We were supposed to come here and kill the CDR guy, or at the very least get the haste buff, but we didn't. So yeah. We're gonna finish off the Staghorn, and we're discussing whether or not we should do another pool or just go to the boss. People have CDs back up, Les is not back up. We're not gonna run around for 3 minutes. So we just decided to go to the boss. And I have Rune Weapon up in 3, 2, 1. I summon Ghoul. I pop Rune Weapon. I Battle Pot Shackle. Because every time the Shackle spreads to these relics, I get a rune. Every time I get a free rune from Shackle spreading, that means I get free uptime on Dance Rune Weapon, right? It's almost like a free blood tap, basically, is how I look at Shackle. I'm calling to kill the CDR boy, because it just makes the most sense to get him killed right away. I'm gonna probably drop a Death and Decay. I Mass Grip here, and I Blood Boiled right when they're there. I didn't drop a Death and Decay, I guess. But I'm shackling still, and there's another shackle coming out. I'm trying to keep up. There's a bone storm coming out because I had 100 runic power, and there's a couple mobs around me. Even if there wasn't a couple mobs around me, I would have still dumped that. I'm trying to keep my dance room up and up, and I'm eagerly trying my best, and it's gonna fade here. I realize that. I have 8 bone shield stacks, so I'm not too worried. I drop a Death and Decay, and I'm getting ready to pop my another dancing room up in, and here we go, right here. Boom. Right there, boom. And immediately I'm going to, I think I'm going to save Shackle. I forget what I do here. I think I save Shackle for when the ads come out because, again, every time it spreads, I get strength stacks. And I also get free runes. So right now I'm just working on using the runes that I have and blood boiling. Here I Death's Advance to get closer to the ads, and I Shackle the boss. And now my Shackle is spreading to the targets, and I'm getting free runes from that, which helps me keep my rune weapon up again. I dropped Death and Decay there to try and cleave off some of those ads. And here I'm just, the ads are dead. I'm getting climbing back up to that 75% mark. There it is, 75%. Still have plenty of runes to work with. I'm trying not to overcap runic power, but I'm also trying to keep my... I'm in a predicament. My dancing rope is about to fall off. I'm trying not to overcap runes. I decided to play it safe. I knew it was going to fall off anyway. I had another rune weapon to go, so I just decided to play it safe and Marrow Rend there so that when my rune weapon fell, I wasn't completely, caught with my pants down. So I let the stacks fall, and I just immediately pop another dancing rope. Mass Grip's back up again, so I Mass Grips to help out my team. I Shackle again, and now Shackle spread to 1. I'm not sure why it didn't spread to this other dude. There it spread. Okay, now it's spreading. Shackle spread. There's the Bone Storm. A little late on the Bone Storm, but I think I was working on focusing on the kick there. I'm climbing back up to 75% stacks of strength. And get the kick there. Boss is basically dead. I'm going to let my rune weapon fall because you still have 8 seconds of the strength buff. And although the rune weapon is down, I'm not too worried about it. Boss is dead. And I don't need to pop another dancing rope. So we still have some count to do. We're going to go ahead and we didn't have lust for that boss because we lusted the second boss into this whole low skip here. We probably should have just worked our way down and killed all this stuff, but now we're backtracking. So that's what I mean by us doing this weird route. I pop Dancing Room Weapon. I gather all this stuff. We have Lust. We're just going to pop it here. Shackle goes out, and I just have infinite runes. Everything's just spreading. I'm doing giga damage. Death and Decay went down. And I think I'm going to pop... Yep, there's a Bone Storm. I pop AMS here because of the magic shit on the floor and then just all the gullets. I notice that this pack's slowly dying, and I need to get something more into hits. I pop IBF because I started to dip low there. I drop Death and Decay. I let everybody know I got the kick on the Staghorn. I got the kick. And I'm just doing giga damage here. I'm just blood boiling. when I can, and Heart Striking. Shackle goes out again. He's basically done. I'm just super greedy for damage here. I should be Blood Boiling here, but I'm not. I'm just trying to Heart Strike to spread the Shackle, although it's already on all the targets. It's not a big deal. And that's basically the key. I drop Death and Decay to do some more cleave damage. Try to always drop Death and Decay when you're fighting again more than 3 mobs. I would say 4+. So that's the key there. Let me pause it here. So we overall did 13.7k, basically right up in line with all the other DPS. I mean, not all the other DPS. I mean, 17.7 from the Warlock's pretty significant amount. Still topping over the healer because, you know, Blood Decay healing is just huge. But yeah, that's the key. I'm trying to think of anything helpful that I can tell you guys here that would be of use for you guys. I guess the only thing that I would like to say is just make sure that you understand when to use a defensive and how to use a defensive. But honestly, when you get a 4-piece as a Blood Decay, your top priority is just playing as best as you can, Heart Striking, and doing your best to dump your Blood Boils out every once in a while, especially in AoE packs. I mean, it's nice to get threat. There was like 1 or 2 instances where I didn't do that, which is a total misplay on my head. Maybe just I was tired or something. I do definitely play, I think, analyzing my own gameplay. This is kind of weird. I'm kind of like analyzing as well, looking at my own mistakes. I definitely feel like I play a little bit better than this. So if somebody's kind of watching this and is a veteran Blood Decay as well, they probably noticed a couple things I might have done wrong. But I think I kind of called out a couple of them, and hopefully you guys learned something from this. But back to my point is when you're a 4-piece Blood Decay, your biggest defensive and offensive ability is that rune weapon, and greeting for it in certain situations, like in big pools where you should be heart striking and just death striking when you can, and then heart striking and throwing out a blood boil, dropping your death and decay so your heart strike can hit more targets. Those types of things to keep your damage up is going to help your threat, and keeping your rune weapon up is going to help your survivability as well. I personally think the dancing rune weapon is like the best tank cooldown in the game. Personally, that's just me, and I could be biased, but honestly, you just feel extremely powerful with that weapon up. I'm playing Kyrian simply because, like I said, I feel like it's the strongest in M+, specifically because it synergizes well with the 4-piece. It gives you free runes, basically, whenever it spreads to targets. And it's huge damage. It's like really big damage. From Mechanicos, the AoE capstone ability, the Fuse Amplifier, or whatever the ability's called, that's big damage. And then the dot itself is huge. It's a big dot. So, yeah, anyways, I don't want to keep ranting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. Please, I really appreciate any types of comments, subscribes, likes. If you want to share this video, hopefully you found it helpful. I definitely want to do at least one of these videos a week. Maybe I'll do 2 to help you guys out on Fort Week, on Tyrannical Week, on different affixes, different dungeons, obviously. I just scrapped together a group because I wanted to do this video for you guys. I do plan my next video to be a actual just breakdown of what I think about the 4-piece tier for Blood Decay, and then what I feel are strong covenants for raid with the 4-piece, and what covenants are strong with M+, and what types of dungeons where I feel like maybe you'd want to swap, and what types of fights in the raid you'd want to be Night Fae or Kyrian or Necrolord. But yeah, that's my next video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.